Right, it's these Happy Dads, mate. Keep you hydrated, isn't it?
Oh, we forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Sponsored by, or that's another thing. We might get in legal trouble. Hope to be sponsored by.
Yeah.
Is that what we should say?
Yeah. Potentially in the future.
Potentially sponsored by Happy Dad.
Cheers to that, mate. No, it's just a great beverage. Beverage.
Gosh, I'm sorry for people listening, dude. This is I gotta fix this. So I didn't do that anymore. But yes, very tasty beverage. The fact that we just started drinking, well, at least for me, I just started drinking these a couple weekends ago when I came over and watched soccer with you guys.
Yeah.
And now I told Morgan, I was like, this is all I'm gonna drink.
Yeah. No,
Like,
I mean,
it's great.
yeah, lightweight, tasty. You can just smash a whole 12-pack of them and still drive. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I really think they're gonna sponsor us.
Yeah, but that's it. Tasty. Apparently, it's got electrolytes in it, so you know.
No, I'm digging it. Yeah, it checks all the boxes. The gluten free. That's why they're so good. I mean, these guys know what they're doing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the branding itself is just hits it straight away. Simple. It's a white can, the red stripe.
I think it's pretty
America,
clever.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's very American. Oh, that's no doubt about that. Oh, okay, well, we'll segue into something here. What do we got? Okay, I want to start with the airplane, not real lady. Let's jump onto that one.
Yes.
So, clip goes viral. Again, this might be a little bit older news, but airplane, not real lady. She points in the back, says that there's somebody there. We've all seen the clip. Or there's somebody not there.
Right. Or
What did she say?
from what I've seen, the clip I saw, I think she was saying that person back there isn't real.
That's what she said.
Which is a nuts thing to hear on a plane.
I couldn't imagine. I would automatically freak out.
I'd leave the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know we've all seen the clip. So now they're saying they can't find the lady. Have you seen that?
Really?
Yeah. Apparently the airlines cannot find this person. She's missing. Like, she's gone.
She just disappeared.
She's disappeared.
Was she the one that's not real?
Maybe. Wow. She wasn't real. She had to get off the plane because somebody realized that she wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was wild.
That is interesting.
And I tried to analyze the video. I'm like, is she off her rocker? Is she drunk? You can't really tell.
I don't know. When I get on a plane, I mean, I don't mean to speak for you too, but when I get on a plane, I have a few drinks before, you know, just lighten up.
Have to.
You know, maybe a bit of shut eye, but
I slam a couple Happy Dads before I go. Perfect. Sip afterwards.
Yeah, I need one as well. Yeah, no, I mean, she could have been. I mean, I know a lot of people take sleeping pills and stuff like that before they get on a plane, but I think potentially you could get kind of loopy if you stay awake during the time when the sleeping pills meant to come into effect. Maybe hallucinating a little bit. I don't know. Maybe she had like a weed brownie or something. Or the hard truth is there's fucking aliens on that plane.
That's what's wild.
Yeah.
And and I think that's where the story has progressed into, right? Because people are bored. I'm bored. We're all bored. We like to prolong this.
Yes.
So if there was somebody on there, she saw somebody, she's gone. Why is she not spoken out? Why is there not a selfie clip of her saying, you know what, guys, I just had a little bit too much to drink.
Yeah.
I popped a Xanny before I sent it.
Mistakes happen.
We want to hear something.
Yeah.
But we don't know what happened. She's gone. And apparently the airlines reached out and nothing.
So you're telling me that potentially a few men in suits approached her afterwards about what the fuck did you do? What did you
They
see?
had, yes,
Look at me. What did you see?
all black suits,
Yeah.
black tie,
Yeah.
and they had a little. Oh man, I'll tell you what. Here's a good segue for you. I guarantee you. Well, I shouldn't say I guarantee you, but the Obamas or the Clintons, they probably wish they had one of those little flash things right now because what in the heck happened with this chef?
I don't know. That was a great segue, by the way.
Thank you. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best out here. We're a seasoned veteran at this podcasting thing already.
Yes, yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, what the fuck did happen? I mean, I'm sure you've seen the videos of the chef swimming. So obviously he's a... Okay, so but the story is he's at Martha's Vineyard, right? At the Obama's estate there. They are not there. Marcy's there. And the chef that's been with them for, 15 years.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds as if he went out to the lake. Seems to be a shallow lake, quite a large one, but shallow still, on a paddleboard with another person, I think I'm hearing.
Yeah, I from what I read, it seemed like he was with other people.
Or
but
at least there was someone else on the lake.
Supposedly, yeah. There's supposedly somebody who was with him. He apparently cannot swim, is known to not be able to swim, is on this paddleboard. It goes over. I guess maybe he gets stuck in it. God bless him. But what's wild is that you've heard that the Clintons...
oh, yeah.
Everything about them.
If you haven't.
But their chef passed drowning as well.
Right.
That's wild. Like, I mean, coincidence happen, but like...
Yeah. I mean, different circumstances as well, I think. I did hear a story about the Clintons one drowning, obviously, but in like a completely different circumstance. But you were saying that apparently the chef can't swim. I have other information.
What do you got?
There's a Twitter video of him in a swimming pool. Swimming. Lengths.
No.
Back and forth.
So he can very well swim.
Look, I'm not going to say it, but yes, I am going to say it. He can swim. 100% he can swim.
Well, then, mainstream media? Like plotting what? Like why is it that it's told that he can't swim?
Beyond me. It's beyond me. Honestly, I wish I could put it out right now. I know you don't have it, but we'll throw it in afterwards.
Yeah. Well, we got to throw it in the
But
clip.
there's actually... You know what? I might have it saved. Should I pull it out real quick for you?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd love to see it while you're pulling it up. So the plot thickens. If this man can swim, what happened?
Here we go. So Tafari Campbell is the guy we're talking about, and he's the personal chef. Okay, so he's a trained swimmer who drowned in a shallow pond. So here's the clips. So this is him on his Instagram.
So he can swim.
He can swim. I'll just let that one sit.
Huh?
I'll just let that one sit just for a second. That was
I thought you were going to say that some random person swimming. Like I would have totally believed it.
Supposedly, I mean, it's Twitter, so can you take it for gospel? Yes, but
I do want to do some more research on what happened, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
because I don't know. I know we're just hitting topics, but I don't know exactly what happened. But it just seemed very
apparently there was a
odd.
phone call. Apparently there was a phone call reporting it, and the person on that phone call was left anonymous. So the person who reported the incident was asked to be left. So he goes, on Sunday evening, Martha's Vineyard police and fire agencies responded to a call of a male paddleboarder who'd gone into the water, appeared to briefly struggle to stay on the surface and then submerged and did not resurface. Another paddleboarder was on the pond with him at the time and observed him go under the water.
And we're talking about paddleboarding.
Yeah, just, the one
We're not talking about canoeing.
No,
We're
just the
talking
one-
about paddleboarding.
Mm-hmm.
That's so odd,
It's a
right?
big board. It's a big board.
It's so odd.
Yeah.
Because even now, and this shares my lack of knowledge on the situation, but I was assuming he was in a canoe Canoe goes over, can't flip himself upright. He gets stuck, just panicking, maybe knocks himself unconscious. I don't know. But a paddleboard, I mean, you're not even attached to anything. If you were even to fall off, I mean...
The only thing you would be attached to potentially is, they have the little ankle strap. So they do on surfboards. I think paddleboards have the same thing, but surely that should, if anything, it should help you get back to the board where you can put your arms over and breathe, just like Jack did in the Titanic or whatever.
It's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird situation. There are thoughts about obviously potential cardiac arrest or something like that.
That's fair.
Maybe.
That's fair. But you can't help us from being like, whoa, I don't think that's a bad thing. Some people might say like, okay, you're like you got a 10 hat on or 10 foil on, but I mean, you got to question everything nowadays. So
you spend 15 years with the past president, the Obamas. You spend 15 years with them as the personal chef, and you're telling me that you didn't overhear a conversation that you weren't meant to? Or
I mean,
that's obviously getting into it and being a bit facetious, but
I don't think that's. I don't think that's a reach at all.
No, I think the Clintons have killed people. We know for way less. So I don't know.
And was he last thing on this topic? Was he at whose residence was he at?
The Obama estate.
So he was actually at their estate.
Yes, but they weren't there. Supposedly.
And then the call. I wonder where the call came from. I'll have to look into it a little bit more. But still, just wild. And yeah, again, coincidences is what always freaks me out with things. It's like, what are the odds of another chef? Because even just to be a chef for the president is so prestigious. Like it's one in millions, hundreds of millions.
Yeah.
And then for them to both fatally lose their life at the same exact way is very odd. Very odd.
I mean, you're telling me that the chef for the president doesn't have to be seriously vetted. I mean, there's tons of ways that they could be poisoned or given bad food or stuff like that. So I mean, and he's been with them for 15 years, so he's obviously pretty good at his job. Obviously, they've kept him around for long enough. I don't know. It's an interesting one.
Well, I think you're gonna like this segue as well. So speaking of food,
all right.
Chick-fil-A has gotten this. Chick-fil-A has a new model facility that they're intending to build. I've seen the double drive-through. I mentioned it earlier. I'm seeing them do this kind of double drive-through model, and now it looks like it's going to be like this modern building where the restaurant's on the top, and you got the cars going through the drive-through at the bottom. I think it's brilliant. I think it'd probably be. I wouldn't be surprised if other fast food restaurants do the exact same thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, it looks like the blueprint to move forward with. I mean, in terms of if you want to even take away from the actual layout of it and how it works and stuff, I mean, just in terms of aesthetic wise, the picture that I think either you or Rick showed me was, glass building, looks modern as fuck. It just looks cool, just looks visually appealing, looks like it takes up minimal space and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, you see the restaurants and stuff a lot of them, a Wendy's or something, they're kind of smaller, but this one looks like it was quite big. It looks like it's got lots of room.
Yeah,
I
think and then even I guarantee they have little conveyor belts that go up and down and just deliver it to the person down low. But there's probably so many different logistical things that go behind that that just makes sense. Yeah, it'd be awesome to have a Chick-fil-A employee in here someday. Speaking of, strong segue. Do you know that the Chick-fil-A owner apparently lived, or he's from Scottsmore, which for the record is 20, 30 minutes north of where we are right now when we're recording this podcast. But just fun fact, I'm pretty sure the owner is actually a very a Space Coast local is what I should say.
Really? Yeah. Well, that's interesting because obviously there's even when I was through high school, which I'm sure you got as well, I was always getting the rumors that Chick-fil-A would come in You know, like Chick-fil-A. It never happened.
And that's what makes it even crazier. It's like this guy was right here in our backyard, but they have very strict. I mean, as you probably know, they have very, very strict I shouldn't say regulations, but
moral codes, or I don't know, moral codes.
It's I think it's populous. So it's like how many people are in a certain area. That's the only way they do it.
Right, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying moral codes. I was more talking about the Christianity.
Yeah, well, close on Sundays.
They make a fucking banging chicken burger though, I'll tell you that one. Makes you forget all about it.
Love it. What do you got?
I don't have a segue like you've had.
Oh, we got it, dude. We got to figure out how to get a segue in on every. I'm grabbing a beer while you start this one.
Nah, the only segue I can't even do a segue to this. But, so, touching it earlier, there is a sprint, 100-meter sprint between women's. So I've got the article here. Now, when I saw this, I didn't quite believe it, but okay, yeah. So this is a Somali women's sprinter, right? And she's in a race. I don't know whether it's some Olympic type event. Seems like serious. I mean, all the other female runners in it were elite. They looked like they were on point. But what it's been documented is the slowest ever performance in a global contest. So if I play the video, right, and you see the performance from this girl. Okay, so they're all lining up, right? And you can see it's like some official event. So that's the Somali woman right there. Okay, so over here.
I'll have this ready for us next time, by the way. I tried to have it for us this time, but...
No, it's fine.
No way. How does that, like... How does she qualify to be there?
Okay, so that's where the interesting part comes in. There's been an investigation led by the Somali Athletics Federation, because I believe that she could be, from what I've heard, the niece of one of the head of the Athletic Federation in Somalia. So I think potentially she's got put in.
Gosh,
just to. But she's 10 seconds behind the fastest woman. 10 seconds. She came in at 21.81 seconds.
But yeah, it's just the explanation you gave to me.
Yeah.
Why? Like, I mean, even I get it. You want to see. I'm about to be a parent. I'm gonna want to see my kid do well. But if I know that they can't like sprint as fast, I'm not gonna shoo them in for public embarrassment. It's just mind blowing to me that would even happen.
I know, and it's crazy to think that, like, I don't think that crossed their mind.
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like,
true.
it's like, I mean, like, but that's the crazy thing about it, because surely, like, obviously the Olympians and stuff, I mean, they're like the elite of the elite athletes. I don't know if this was exactly the Olympics level. I don't think it's going on right now, but could be some sort of test or whatever. Surely you'd want the most elite of the athletes, like, representing your country.
100%.
In terms of, like, national pride and all that sort of stuff. But
maybe they knew that their elite person wasn't elite enough. Like, maybe they knew that they were going to lose anyways. So they're like, well, might as well put little Johnny in so that they can get, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Just to say, oh, she was in the Olympics, but, like, we weren't going to win anyways.
So fuck it. Yeah, it's just like, it's just complete discredit this.
Nobody's going to rewatch that video. No. Nobody's going to watch that.
And it's just, I saw that. And honestly, that was, like, probably one of the funniest clips I've seen today.
Probably.
Just
Speaking of putting somebody in a caliber that they don't belong in, have you seen this podcaster? Her name is Bobby.
Right.
Is that
honestly? I'm going to shake your hand for that one. That was a good one. You were reaching, but you found it. I didn't know where you were going. I was like, "Where's he going with this one?" And you brought it right back.
It's all about the segues, man. It's all about the segues. But yes, speaking of somebody that's out of their league, Bobby, I don't know. I think you've said her last name, but this girl is
Althoff, I think.
Althoff. She is crushing the podcast game. She suddenly comes from nowhere and she's interviewing Drake. I just watched today Mark Cuban,
Lil Yachty as well.
Little Yachty. I watched that one as well. So good though. I mean, I can't even hate because her podcasting style is so interesting.
Yes.
You gotta love it.
Yeah.
But just wild. Comes from nowhere. How do you think that happens?
How do I think it happens? I mean, I don't consider myself a conspiracy theorist.
You sure about that? After a couple more of these, maybe.
Yeah, I think one more of these and aliens are real. No, but people, I have heard rumblings about it. Obviously, I've seen the podcast with Drake and it went viral. Tons of clips. Obviously, the Lil Yachty one was really funny. I didn't even know she did one with Mark Cuban. It must have been like a more recent one. Banging on views, doing that sort of stuff. And people were saying industry plant.
Yeah, I think it is. And
she's an actress, right?
I don't know. What I do know is that she has been doing podcasts for a while.
Yep.
And I believe that she's been doing it. She's had enough longevity where people go, okay, this is interesting. It just hasn't popped. Somebody signed her. And that was kind of how it happened.
Right, because she has an interesting interview or podcast format. I really like it. It's a really dry, non-expression, and it creates great content.
I think it's great, especially in the modern world of sensationality. Mm-hmm. You know, even I can speak for myself. I'm just a very upbeat person.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's nice to have somebody just kind of like very just dry and just like, so what do you do? And there's something interesting about that because there's the podcast, the entertainment world's so full of this, you know, over the top energy that it works at its timing.
100%. I mean, I think so. A female creator I can compare it to. I don't know if it's like a fair comparison because I think that they're in two different spaces. But in terms of the way they interact with the guests that they have on the show, there's a female or lady called Amelia de Moldenberg. Now she does this thing called Chicken Shop Day in England. She's a UK creator, and she has on the likes of Burna Boy and I'm not going to list it off. She has tons of like artists, mostly musical artists, and her sort of thing is they're very dry. She had Jack Harlow on, so there's tons of clips that she has that went like massively viral, but she has that sort of dry thing like that. So it's like,
right.
And I fucking love her videos. I think it's brilliant. It's so funny because they almost don't know what to say. Like you can see in the clips, like Drake's a little bit awkward about it, but I think that's also why Drake's so great as like a. I don't want to class him as like a celebrity, but because I think he's more than that. But he's so good at almost like performing in the public light. He knows how to handle that situation, which is where he created like tons of clips out. And I think that sort of dry humor is like a great space or creates a great environment if the other person knows how to navigate it in terms of creating good content.
100%. And I think it also plays on like ego as well. You know, the larger we get in terms of media, you start looking at different people, and it's like with that dry humor, your ego is really kind of tested. It's like, can you take yourself, you know, do you take yourself too seriously? That's essentially what this Bobby podcast platform kind of pushes, in my opinion. Which is fun to watch, you know, and it makes sense for Drake to be on there, Lil Yachty, and then even Cuban, you know, he's known to have a big ego, and rightfully so. He's a badass. But he seemed like he handled it pretty well. Yeah. From a couple of clips I saw, she called him like an old man and stuff, and you could see him just kind of be like, damn. Like, what?
Kind of reminds me of Caleb Presley from Barstool Sports. Oh, the Sunday conversation.
Yes. Okay. Great. Okay. I have a little bit of a twist. For some reason, my mind went this way, though. So the only negative I see on this is that they are still playing a character. Right. And Caleb, you can definitely tell he's playing the character. Bobby, you can tell she is kind of like that, but she's still playing a character.
Yep.
But that's the only flaw in the whole situation for me. Because
Right.
I love the transparency era that we're kind of going through. Everybody's being themselves.
Yeah.
But it's like Caleb does a good job because you'll see clips of him off on a different podcast and be like, of course, it's a personality. But apparently, I saw a clip where the Bobby girl did not go on a podcast because it's right now that is her brand, that she cannot be seen not being that person. That's not genuinely her. From what I've observed so far, that is not her.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's interesting though. Because then because Caleb's been on Theo Von's podcast and stuff like that. He's not the exact same person in terms of like the way he asks the questions or whatever, but he still goofs off and still goofs around. So like you can tell it's just who he is.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. Yeah. I mean like you're saying in this era of like where I feel like humans just want
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Thank you. That's the perfect word. They want that authentic thing because it's like if you're not authentic, then like I feel like I don't want to waste my time listening to you because you're just lying to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like because I mean we could go deep into it, but with all the lying that we've just dealt with for the past 2 to 3 years, I think that's why there's such a desire to have that authentic interaction between yourself and the creators because we just want something real.
100%. And I think that's where it does get interesting. That 100%, because the lines between entertainment and reality is where things got really mixed up, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So now you're seeing the entertainment industry kind of get shook, where it's like, where are these like entertainers versus like entertainers, just authentic entertainers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's where I think it got merged because politicians are entertainers. So it's like everything was just a facade entirely. And now I think there's a lot of, that's why like I would wear a Barstool hat. I'd throw a Barstool shirt on because I think that was kind of a pioneer. Rogan was clearly a pioneer. But there's Elon, another one, that was just kind of doing whatever they wanted. Yeah. And then people were subscribing to that. I was like, okay, they're entertaining, but they're also them. Like, that's what makes it kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's the old saying, it's like people buy from people, don't they? So,
yeah.
If you feel like you can trust them and you feel like you trust in what they believe in, or you feel like they're giving off an authentic
100%,
then you're like, yeah, whatever. And then you're much more likely to understand them in like their humor and stuff like that. So you can tell when Joe Rogan's poking fun at stuff, and you can tell when Elon's like fucking about. But the people who don't,
100%,
the ones that are like, fuck Joe, fuck Elon, like because you don't get it.
100%. But I think a majority of people are starting to shift.
Yeah,
and they're going, hey, Disney might not be doing the best. They're. I know you're gonna like that one. Huh? Another great segue. Huh? They're here all day.
This is unbelievable.
They're here all day. But Disney is a prime example of somebody kind of putting on this showman mentality, and I love the dreamer aspect. I love that. I love the idea and the utopian vision of Disney. I love it, but what's happened is what we're just talking about, which is like there's not behind the scenes and kind of like how things are playing out doesn't feel authentic. It feels forced, and I feel like they have a certain agenda that they want to push, and a lot of people feel that.
So Kylian Mbappe, who's probably one of him along with Haaland are probably like the hottest prospects in football right now. Ronaldo and Messi kind of fading out. Obviously Messi's doing his thing, but Ronaldo and Messi kind of fading out in terms of age. Now, Al Hilal offered him a contract for 1 year for $776 million.
How is that? How's that even possible?
Okay, I can break it down for you. Okay, so what that means per month, right? He earns $64.6 million.
$64 million a month.
Yep. Per week, it's $14.7 million. Per day, that's 2.1. An hour, $88,000.
$88,000 an hour,
which works out to $24 a second. I believe those numbers are correct. And that's for 1 year.
Cheers. Happy Dad. We just need a small sponsor. If we can get
$24 a week.
If we can get the hourly rate Note Boys, we'd be very happy.
I take the hourly rate for a month.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
That's what I meant.
Okay. That's better. The hourly rate might be a bit of a stretch, but I'll still take it.
I'll take free beer.
I'll drink an hour's worth of beer a week.